Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Focus Daily Show. And as always, I'd like to begin this show by giving all praise due to the Most High and His Son, Jesus Christ. It is through them that I am able to bring this truth as a chance for redemption and grace for all. So today we're going to talk about England, the crown, which was being ordered by the Pope and the throne in Rome to perpetrate most of these crimes that we speak about. But during this particular time in 1807, England decided to abolish the slave trade. And this is another one of those tricky situations where you have to use your discernment to understand what they mean by slave trade. No, they wasn't talking about in America and the so-called Africans and this and that. They was talking about taking people from their homelands and forcing them to work in helping the company achieve their goals. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So after Napoleon and France had discovered all of this gold, they decided to bring the forced labor to an end. And they decided to give each individual the ability to earn with the company rather than forcing labor upon the people. Now, right here, we're looking at the agreement made by Her Majesty, the Queen of England, to put an end to the trafficking of slaves across the Atlantic. And we're going to read a little part about it. Once again, you got to turn on your discernment for us to be able to see the truth that I'm presenting here. Let's start off at the beginning. The Act, the Abolition of the Slave Trade Act was passed on March 25th, 1807, almost to the date, declaring that from the 1st of May, 1807, all manner of dealing and reading in the purchase, sale, barter, or transfer of slaves or of persons intending to be sold, transferred, used, or dealt with as slaves, practiced or carried in at or from any part of the coast of countries of Africa shall be abolished, prohibited, and declared to be unlawful. See this part right here? Oh, okay, that's cool. Countries. It kind of gives the pretense that Africa is a country, but Africa is technically a continent. So when you say the countries of Africa, it kind of has a underlying meaning to it. But we're going to read a little more. Any ship found to be involved in the slave trade were liable to be seized and condemned. The master and owner were liable to be fined £100 per slave, and the ships and goods fortified to the crown. Bounty or head money was paid to the captors of illegal vessels. So even at this moment, the crown seized this opportunity to gain even more control and relinquish it to the company, the Virginia Company, for this new form of slavery that they were beginning to install, debt slavery. So rather than being physically forced to work, they place you in debt, and you have to work out your debt with the company in order to become free. The bounty was £30 for every man and woman, and £10 for children under 14, delivered to the appropriate authorities. Africans, there go their word again, Africans. What they're really trying to say is melanated people. Also, on another note, they was talking about people actually from that continent. You know, the Bible calls them Canaanites. And the Canaanites was a different breed than the Israelites. African freed from the illegal slavery were not free to do as they wished. Instead, men were enlisted in the Army, the Navy, the Royal Marine to be considered treated, and dealt with in all respects as if they had voluntarily enlisted or entered themselves. So once again, no longer were people being forced into labor. They were being forced into debt recovery or debt slavery. A debt was placed upon them, and they had to work that out. And in the process of working it out, they was also allowed to have access to this new world that they were building. I hope this all makes sense, but we're going to continue on. Women, children, and those not suitable for enlistment were bound as apprentices to landowners, the military, and local government as laborers and domestics. Okay. A little bit more, folks. It's not going to be long today. I know this legal talk is not for everybody, but all of this plays an important role. Liberated Africans, or melanated people, or Canaanites, but also this one speaks about Israelites, the indigenous people of America. Liberated Africans were African from the continent, Canaanites, American, which are the indigenous people, the Israelites, and Caribbean, islanders, slaves who were found on board illegal slavers and freed by the courts. However, they were not freed in the sense that they could go and do what they choose. They were not sent back to their countries of origin, as it was considered likely that they would be re-enslaved. Although liberated, they were not technically free. Able-bodied men were enlisted into the military services, particularly the Army, for unlimited service. They were not entitled to the full benefits and pensions when discharged as unfit for further service or after 21 years. Women and children were often apprenticed to local landowners, to the military, and to the local government for periods of 14 years. So there you have it, people. Even though it's written in complicated terminology, it's rather simple. From this point on, you were free as long as you agreed to work with the company. The company had a plan of building this new world. So that's it. England officially abolished slavery in 1807. All right, y'all. Until the next episode of the Focus Daily Show, we out.